the best way to build currently Android application, the best way that is fully reproducible, that requires minimal overhead for administrations, for administrator team, is to use these Docker images. You may be heard about the Docker. Docker is some fancy new technology that is really mostly used for deploying your application, but you can use the Docker also for building your application. In this case, I found an image on Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a registry when anyone can contribute Docker images. I found this Docker image for Android SDK, and it appears that only what I had to do is to install the Fastlane on this image and to add these additional missing pieces like build tools and Android testing, Android emulator image. And later, I had to push this image to my own Docker registry, to my own repository that is shared by Docker Hub. I had to push this image because this image I will later specify in GitLab configuration file, because everything that we will be running for building our application will be run against this image. You can maybe see the thing that you can basically provide any Docker image, so you can build anything that can be useful for your workflow, not only for building your Android apps. But going further, if we want to build our Android application, we had to update our build Gradle file. Build Gradle file basically describes how the Gradle compiles your application. I had to put in build Gradle file information how to fetch the version, because I assume that we will want to have this fully automated. So we'll be not modifying the build Gradle file manually. So this version will be fetched from the CI. And later, I had to initialize the Fastlane. Fastlane, it appears it's really well documented how to use with Android. The only thing, actually, there are two things that I had to do. The first thing is to use the Fastlane init command. It basically guides you through the process, how to provision your application. It then asks you at some point to go to your Google Play Developer Console and generate API keys to access your Google Publishing. So in order, if you want to, for example, deploy your application, you need to generate this API JSON file and store it somewhere. And during this Fastlane init process, you will be asked for this file. Then there are some preliminary steps that you basically need to do for every project, not only hosted on GitLab CI. We need to specify something that will describe your process for the GitLab CI. So we have this GitLab CI YAML file. This file is part of your repository. This file describes everything about your project, and it appears that it's really simple. At the top, you see the image. This is exactly the same image that I created before, and then we have these jobs. In this example, I have one job. It's just the test job. This job is really simple, but basically it executes just Fastlane test. And if we want, for example, some more complicated scenarios, workflows, we can create another jobs. In this case, we create the beta job. Beta job, as previously, executes really simple action on Fastlane, but there is nice constraints for this job. It says execute this job only on master. So we will do deployment only on master, but what is important that this deployment will happen only after this stage with all tests do pass. And the same we can do for example, the production deployments. These production deployments will happen only for tags. As you see, this syntax is really simple. It's really clear what is happening here. And you may be asking yourself, what I want to test my application against simulator. It's maybe a little more complicated because you need to create your Android emulator, and you need to start that emulator, and then you are basically free to use anything that connects to emulator and executes instrumentation tests on this emulator. But this is nice catch about this, because if you, for example, define 10 jobs of these different emulators, these 10 jobs will be executed in parallel. this is not something that it's executed in sequence. So if you want to test against 10 different devices, you basically will be, your test will take as long as the longest one of your tests. So this is really nice addition because it basically allows you to reduce your testing time, but on the other hand, have even more full coverage of your testing devices. The next thing, if we have this GitLab CI YAML file, it's really simple. You need to go to your GitLab. You need to create your project. It's nice that we offer gitlab.com. It's free, and it's free even for your private project. And it also offers the free CI for your private projects. So you can, for example, create a new project, do push, and this will get triggered by the GitLab CI and will be built by the GitLab CI. Then, if we did create this project, we only need to push these changes, and these changes will be automatically built. We also have this feature, like storing variables. Variables are the things that are passed to your build process. These variables allow you to store some secrets, because you may think that I want to use my key store to sign my Android application, but how to do that? Usually it's okay to just store this key store in your repository, but you should think about storing this with some really secure password. And having these secure variables allows you to securely store these passwords with your GitLab project. And these passwords will be available only for your build. And if we see how it later looks, if you trigger your build, you can see what is happening. You can see that we have different builds because we had different jobs. You will have as many builds as you had defined jobs. In this case, we have two different deployment procedures. One is when we actually build the master, and the second one is where we actually build the tags. In case of master, we did do deploy for beta. In case of the tags, we do deploy for the production. And you can see the times. This is basically something that is happening in parallel. Everything that is happening in staging for stage test is happening in parallel. And thank you very much. Happy testing and deploying. You can find this example app that I did present. This is the QR code that you can just now scan, read the README, and have all these. You can fork this repository and start testing and playing with it.
Thank you, Kamil. That was really cool. Opening easy CI for mobile developers. Now, quite a different talk from Karolina Demianczuk. Karolina, the fun or new fact that I've learned about her is that she lived in 3 countries: Poland, US, and Singapore. So pretty well, like reflects very well also our international audience here. Karolina will talk in a moment about Spontime, who she works on together with a few people that almost everyone knows here. Like there is like the guy there, Michał. I heard pretty much everyone knows him here. So in a few moments we will hear from Karolina about how to do viral marketing, how it worked actually for Spontime. Small problems.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. So my name is Karolina, and I will tell you today how to make your mobile app or any other product go viral. Because you can make You can make the best product ever. Co nie będziecie robić? Okay, you can make the best product ever, but if people won't hear about your app, no one will use your app. So first, let me introduce myself. Okay, so I'm a business management student specializing in marketing, and I'm a founder of Spontime. Some of you might have heard about it, some of you don't. It's a new social networking mobile app that received huge amount of media interest lastly in Poland. So we appeared in Forbes, in Digital Journal. Pytanie na śniadanie, TVN24, like all the news, Radio SK, and already American journalists are approaching us. Every day we receive more than 10 or sometimes more than 100 messages of people who support us and who want our startup to become a global startup. And they wish us luck. So what's interesting is that we haven't spent 1 cent or 1 grosz for marketing. So it's all viral. It all happened, let's say, by itself. So today I want to tell you, so that's us in all the media. Okay, so let's go next. So let me start from a great quote by Mark Zuckerberg. People influence people. Nothing influences people more than a recommendation from a trusted friend. A trusted referral influences people more than the best broadcast message. A trusted referral is the holy grail of advertising. So what is Mark talking about? He's talking about word of mouth. So word of mouth is the most powerful marketing. We can spend tens of thousands or millions of dollars for marketing, but people still trust their friends and their families more than, of course, ads. So we're actually more than 74% more likely to buy any product or to download any app if we hear it from a friend or family than from any ad. So today I will tell you, do you know how many percent of all the word of mouth marketing is online? Who thinks it's more than 50% online? Who thinks it's less than 20%? Yeah, it's actually 7%. So we still focus too much on technology, on our Facebook ads or mobile ads, but we forget about psychology and why people share our message. So we forget, when we create our products, we forget why people want to talk our product and why people think about our product, because they won't talk about it if we won't make them think about it. So I don't know how many of you create your own mobile apps or just work for a corporation, but if you will ever create mobile app or any other product, I will give you the steps what to do to make people talk about it without spending 1 grosz for marketing. So actually there's a science behind it. In the book Contagious, Why Things Catch On, written by Jonas Berger, I highly recommend the book, even if you're not marketers, because it will allow you to understand why some products catch on and why some products with millions of dollars for marketing just don't. So all of you should read the book, and it's all explained very well in the book. I will just go over it very quickly. So there's been more than 10 years of research and more than tens thousands of cases, and over again, the same 6 ingredients appear in the successful products. So all the products that we want to share, we want to talk about, they all have the 6 steps, right, by public, practical, so to be. All right. So the first one, social currency. So do you know what type of photo is the most popular photo in 2015? So it's a selfie. So more than 30% of all the photos taken are selfies. So what does it say about our generation? It only says that we love to show off. We love to be in the center. We want to say, I'm the boss, look at me. So when we create any product, we have to think about how can we help users to brag, to feel the pride, to have the warm feeling of joy when they talk about our product, and how can we help them feel cool or feel great by using our product. So of course it's easy if you're like Tesla or if you're Chanel, because people just having you, they feel cool, right? But actually, if you're a mobile app, you have to answer some questions. First of all, you need to give users. You have to have something to share that user will feel cool by sharing it, right? So, for example, why will users want to share? Will it give them feeling of pride? Will they feel they achieved something and they want to share it? So, for example, Nike Plus app, it's a great example. So let's say you run 10 miles. Of course, you're proud, you want to share it with your friends. There's many more other running apps, but Nike allows you to share it, and not only does it allow you to share your cool run, right, your achievement, but also there's usually like a little sign. So you know this photo was taken, this run was measured by Nike Plus app. And also think about how will your app motivate users to keep sharing over the long term. So for example, today you run 10 miles, tomorrow you run 15, so you want to share again. Today you run in Łazienki, tomorrow you run in Central Park, so you want to share again. So LinkedIn, let's say last year, what they did, they sent emails to 10% of their top users, saying, congratulations, your profile is one of the most viewed profile on LinkedIn. So we want to give you like the sticker influencer. So what all these hundreds of thousands of people, they felt very proud. I'm influencer. People look at me on LinkedIn. So what they did, they shared their message. They not only LinkedIn, but on Facebook, on Twitter, they talked about it. So people who didn't think about signing up for LinkedIn, they signed up. So that just sending email make your users feel proud of something and yeah. So they are actually your own marketers and they spread your message. So here the next step is trigger. I'm very sorry for this, but I have to play the video to explain the concept. Dobrze idzie? Okay, it's actually Friday today. So why I play this song? If you hate this song, you're not the only one. It's one of the most thumbed down songs ever on YouTube. Actually, more than 70% of thumbs are down. But it has 300 million views. And why does the song have 300 million views? Not only because it's a bad song written by a 16-year-old girl. There's many bad songs. But the song, if you look at the search for Rebecca Black on YouTube, you see a very interesting pattern. So you see a spike, then it goes down. Then you see a spike, then it goes down. Then there's a spike, and then it goes down. But if you look closer, you see something very interesting. So every spike, each spike, is every 7 days on Friday. So when you create any product, you have to think. So let's say Friday is what psychologists call trigger. So trigger is something that reminds users about your product when they don't use your product. So Friday is a trigger for Rebecca Black song. So I was in high school in US, and in US, always before classes, we play music for like an hour, because like if students go to school before the school starts. So every Friday, there was a Friday song. So that's why the song achieved such a huge viral success. So how can you make how can you remind users about your app if we talk about mobile app? So of course the easiest way is to put the push notifications, but you don't want to be spammy, you don't want people to delete your app because there are too many push notifications. So think about outside the box. Let's say, look how Instagram does it. So when you go to a new restaurant, you order great food. It looks beautiful. You think about Instagram. You don't think about Facebook. You don't think about other photo app. So what Instagram did is they associate their app with like food, with like photos of food. So when you go to a restaurant, you think Instagram. So what KitKat did with their marketing campaign when their sales went down, they found a trigger, coffee. So they marketed, so coffee break, take KitKat. So coffee, KitKat coffee is like, why is coffee good trigger? Because it's frequent. So when you're Rebecca Black, don't write song called Winter. So pick like frequent triggers. So when people, people think about it often. All right, so the next emotion. So people are much more likely to talk about your product, to think about your product, and to spread your message when it affected them emotionally. So of course you can say it's easy if you're like funny video app like Vine, or if you're a news app, so you shock your audience or you surprise them. But I want to give you an example that you can induce emotions with anything. So what's a boring product? Let's say a very boring product is a blender. So this is, I don't know how many of you watched the Blend Tech commercials, but their sales after this video went up by 700%. Dobra, to możemy już przewinąć. All right, so that's the iPhone. If they could do it with blenders, you can do it with anything, all right? Let's go next, okay. So next, your product has to be visible. So imagine you're in new city, you completely don't know where to eat. You're hungry, you walk around, there's many restaurants. Which restaurant are you going to pick? Like the crowded one. Why? It's called social proof. So people imitate other people. So for example, let's say we're in a theater, there's the end of the show, and you sit in the middle, and someone in front of you stands up, starts clapping, so the whole audience stands up and starts clapping. But let's say someone in the back of the audience stands up and starts clapping, no one stands up. So there's a saying for it, monkey see, monkey do. So people are kind of monkeys. We imitate other people. So a couple years ago, there was a huge trend to listen to MP3s and iPods. And you wouldn't recognize if it's Panasonic, Sony, or Nokia headphones. So what did Apple do? They introduced white headphones. So suddenly you see more people having white headphones, and then you start thinking, more and more people have these new headphones, white headphones, maybe I should switch, maybe they are better. So the easiest way is to put logo of your company, because if you put logo, let's say on your t-shirt, then people who wear your t-shirt are like walking advertisers. But what can you do if you're a mobile app? Of course, so I don't need this, right? You need to have social share buttons. And I don't care if you're like productivity app or if you're completely not social networking app. You need to give your users not only a reason to share, but also you need to make it as easy as possible to share your app with your friends. So the easiest way is to give them like the social buttons. All right. Your product has to be practical, but I believe you're like developers, so they are practical. And story. So this is where I want to spend a little bit more time, because actually story is what made SponTime so popular. Like I told you, we were already talking with like TechCrunch and Mashable journalists, and it's like crazy for me, but it's all because of the story. So let's say we meet at a party. I approach you and I say, hey, do you know that Subway introduced 5 new subs with less than 5 grams of fat? So you hear something like this, and your reaction is like, wow, that's really cool. You know, I gotta go to the bathroom. No one likes when people sell their products. So marketers focus too much on selling rather than storytelling, which is like you don't want to spread, let's say, a complete ad further. You want to spread the story. So here you see the most expensive burger in the world. Let's say your friend just had the most expensive burger in the world, and he calls you, hey, I just had the most expensive burger in the world. So the story is simple, it's direct, but it's not supercharged. And supercharged is what makes, passes the spread it further test. So in order to make a story supercharged, you need to like shock people or surprise them. So if this burger actually costs $5,000. So I'm pretty sure if your friend calls you and says, "Hey, I just had a $5,000 burger," I would tell my other friends about it. So other friends, it's called Fleur Burger if you want to Google it. So yeah, okay. And the last example. Oh yeah. So remember to like very careful word choice makes a huge difference. So for my example. What I believe made Spontime so famous is that we got valuation of $3.3 million, our app, from investors, but I didn't emphasize this point. So there's been like 3 articles about it and nothing happened. But suddenly, MamStartup.pl, they wrote article and they entitled it like $3.3 million app, blah, blah, blah. Makes like, I don't remember, but there was $3.3 million and people wanted to share it. It got more than, I guess, like 1,000 shares. Okay, so this is Josh Bell. He is the best violinist in the world. He plays $3.5 million violin, and he makes thousands of dollars a minute. So he's the best. But what happens when you put him in a subway station? So that's actually what they did with Washington Post. They did an experiment. And he played for 1 hour in Washington subway station. And they wanted to find out how many people stop and listen to his music. People pay hundreds of dollars to listen to his music. But what happens if he's in the subway? So, okay. Right. So he's the best in the world. Like I said, he makes $1,000 a minute. And when he's in subway and he's not packaged like, I'm the best, I have $3 million violin, no one stops, no one's interested. So portray your product as average, and that is all it will ever be. So if you ever work on your own product and you don't believe it's the best, you don't believe it's worth talking, and you don't believe it's you by yourself think it's average, people will think the same. So why would anyone else think it's great if you don't believe it? All right, thank you. So also what I want to say is that we are going to look for more developers if you're interested. I'm very happy to how to say, to bring you into our team.
Some.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Karolina. Thank you very much. Sorry for the technical problems.
No problem.
Hopefully it was all okay. Now we have, going back to a little more technical presentation. We have our guests from Talk, Bartek Zdanowski and Piotr Jagielski. They will tell about Sputnik. Yesterday we had another static code analysis tool, so we have a little bit of fight of startups, I think, yesterday, today. They will talk about what makes their Sputnik code analysis tool really good. Just give us 1 minute to set it up, and we'll be ready to go.
Ty masz nagłowny swój? To koledzy. Raz, dwa, dobrze. Maybe I should get, warm you up. Who of you is using static analysis? Okay, some of you, right? So you probably know what is the... Change this, please. Okay. Przełącz się na to. Przełącz się na to i wyłącz to. Zastosuj. Zastosuj. Nie. Mirror. To nie jest mirror. Na pewno? Tak chcesz? Nie, polegniemy na tym. Zrób mirror. Zrób szybciutko mirror. Dobrze. Okay, so I can start. So static code analysis is a technique when you don't run the test, but you actually look at the code structure on the source code or on the bytecode, and you look for some problems with it. For example, your classes are too big, too complicated, you have too many dependencies from other classes, you have too long methods, maybe you are using too many ifs, or you are using, for example, uninitialized values, so you can run into null pointer exception. Okay, and every language has its own tools to run static analysis. We'll focus on Java as the example. All right, so in Java we have find bugs, PMD, and check style, and see what you should do to enable it. You probably should include a dependency into your Maven or Gradle. You have to add some configuration. You probably should find it in the internet and tweak it for your needs. Then you have to add some information for Maven when to build it. Again, for the check style. Dependency, configuration, some instructions for PMD, the same here. And we end up with very nice XML. And what is the output? Output should be very readable. And I will give a t-shirt for the one who will tell what the problem is with my code. It's a message from Find Bugs. Anybody? Yes, it's bugged, very bugged. Okay, you will get a t-shirt. We have problem here. So I have to go then to test Java to line 12 and fix the problem. And again, push my code and check it, right? Do we have other options? Yes, we have. For example, SonarQube, it's a very big machine. It uses the same tools under the hood, but gives us very nice statistics. And here I took a very old project. We have 17,000 problems with technical debt almost 2 years. So we need 2 years to fix them. So instantly we are overwhelmed by the amount of the problems that we have in this project. Maybe we should use different approach, badges. People love badges. It's very useful nowadays. So we have, for example, maintenance, coverage, rating, votes, documentation, code quality, gluten-free, made with love, etc., etc., yeah? And I don't know what does it mean. For example, code quality B. It's some kind of score. I'm an engineer. I need straight information. Where is the problem? And how should I fix it? So, and if I should fix the whole project in the same at the same time, it would be very hard for me. All right. So, what if I will make small changes for my code, refactor it bit by bit, and what if I have a direct feedback only to this change that I have created? So, this is the example. There is a mistake, right? And we have straight message what's the problem with it. And that's the place where the Sputnik comes. Because Sputnik works on pull requests. I suppose you know what those are. It's a small piece of code that you want to push into your repository. So Sputnik gives you direct feedback for only the piece you have just pushed to the repository before merging, of course. So you can see straight information tailored to the lines with the problems. Okay, and why should we focus on pull requests? Because it's very natural. We work in this way. You can fix the code bit by bit. It's very good for large code base because you are still focusing on the small pieces. And Piotr, will you show us how Sputnik runs?
So let me just show you a quick demo about this Sputnik stuff. So in order to use it, you just have to go to our website and sign in with your GitHub account. it should now download your repositories from GitHub. So it's standard stuff. Every tool uses this workflow. Okay, so I got as example repository that we will enable Sputnik now. So the easiest way is to click this settings icon, and this simple wizard should appear. So in the first step, we just select the build tool we use. In this case, I'm using Maven, so I will select, but Gradle is also supported. And then the important thing is that Sputnik just runs inside your continuous integration service. So you have to choose whether you are using Travis or CircleCI. These are supported, but I will tell you later that we are working on others. So we assume that you already have set up this tool. So when I select CircleCI, it only shows me what should I add to my circle.yam file. And as you can see, it should look something like this. So I got this test post section that just tells CircleCI to execute our script that will perform analysis. Okay, so let's move on. And in the last step, we just select which the static analysis tools we want to use. And in this case, I will just use find bugs. And basically, that's all. If you love badges, you can also use our badge. You can tweet that you are using Sputnik. So we just finished this wizard. And as Bartek said, we are working on pull requests. So let's now submit a pull request to our repository. So I got it checked locally, and I'm on some branch, and now we can just repeat the same error that was reported by find bugs. So it's we have some string variable here, and in one of the branch of the if we just check the length of the string. So it should find bugs should complain that it's null the reference, but let's see if it compiles by running Maven. It is, so let's just add this file and commit with some message, and I have to push it to this GitHub to create a pull request. The internet works, yes. Okay, and when I go back to my repository, maybe I will just... So I can now create a pull request by clicking this button. And what happens here is, because we have this CircleCI setup, it just gets this event that the pull request was created, and it's triggering the build. So it's running now. We can check how it looks like. So when it just runs, I can tell you about what's happening under the hood, but I don't know how to. Okay. So as we added this section with the test post executing our script, so the CircleCI will just compile the sources, and then when the compilation is successful, it will just run our script. So it will communicate with this website to fetch the configs that we just set up, and then run the analysis. And basically the most tricky part is that because the static analyzers just run on the whole files, and obviously in the pull request we are not always changing the whole file, but some parts of it. We have to match which of the violations are connected to the changes from this particular pull request. So we are doing this here. It's still running, but maybe we will see something here. Okay, so basically the build finished, and the CircleCI just said that it's okay, but our Sputnik found some violations in our code. It's presented here that we have two checks, and one is okay because the code compiles, but the Sputnik found something, and here in the discussion section, we just got this message in this particular line, which could cause a problem for us, showing that this is something bad with the code.
Okay, and does it block us? So we cannot continue?
Well, no, not at all, because you still have this merge pull request button. So if you think that this violation is not really important, you can just merge this pull request. And also we have this details link here, so you can go back to Sputnik website and see all the history of your builds, which were the failing, which were the successful ones. You can also get back to pull request page here. And also you can change the settings anytime. So if you want to use check style now, you can do it on this screen. So basically that's the workflow, and maybe we should continue with the presentation. So as we've shown you, we support GitHub, but also there is because this command line tool that runs inside the CI is fully open source. The primary workflow is that we had hosted Gerrit, and it just communicate with this Gerrit. So it also Gerrit, self-hosted Gerrit is supported, and we are now in developing the support for GitLab, and it should both support both the cloud version on GitLab.com and in the self-hosted installation, and we also will support the GitLab CI as well. And of course, we are open to other ideas what other service we should support. And regarding the languages, as Bartek said, we are mostly focused on Java, so we support these tools. But also, if you had some code with Scala, it's we support it with Scala style, and Groovy with CodeNarc. And also, we have some basic support for JavaScript with these two tools. And now we are working on Python support with PyLint. And the nice thing about this is that the tool support is in this open source code of Sputnik. So if you want, if someone has idea, for example, to add Swift support or Kotlin, you are welcome to contribute to our code. So we will be happy to have some contribution. Okay, and we got this little contest for you. If you enable the Sputnik support in your GitHub project and then click this share on Twitter button, we get 10 t-shirts for you. So be quick. And also we have some stickers if you want. Just we will be after the conference, you can grab some stickers from us. And I think that's all. So thank you.